Hi everyone, welcome to lecture number 24, the third lecture on human capital. In our last lecture, we discussed about how a person should choose the level of schooling that maximizes the present value of earnings through wage schooling lucas. We have seen that what should be the stopping rule, where the individual should stop, how many years of schooling he should acquire, that is completely guided by the marginal rate of return equals to the rate of discount. In this lecture, we will discuss about the difference in earnings which may occur in the labor market because of difference in discount rate and a difference in ability. So, because of the difference in the discount rate or difference in ability, the individuals how many years they should choose to have in school, it may differ. So, based on that, when they enter into the labor market, obviously their earnings are going to be different. So, we will discuss about how this happens when the workers enter into the labor market with some discount rate, different discount rate and with difference in ability, which may lead to some difference in the earnings, which is because of the differences in the attainment in the schooling or the attainment of educational level. So, the schooling model tells us how a particular worker decides that how much of schooling to acquire, and as a result also tells us that where a worker plays in the income distribution in the post school period. So, workers who get more schooling earn definitely more, although they give up some values for that, but more year of schooling they earn more. However, this model isolates two factors as we discussed in our last lecture that may lead to different workers to obtain different level of schooling and hence to have different earnings in the labor market. So, workers either have different rates of discount or face different marginal rate of returns schedule. So, either they are different, they have different rate of discount or they have different difference in ability. So, while examining this schooling and earning in the context of workers with different rate of discount, we are essentially delving into the economic concept of time preference. So, the time preference refers to how individuals value consumption at different time periods. So, workers with different rates of discount value these future earnings differently, which can impact their decision regarding the schooling and the labor market participation. So, let me discuss more how this concept different discount rates can influence the schooling and earnings. Discount rates and the investment in education, they are related in a very significant way. So, individuals with lower discount rate tends to place a higher value on future earnings compared to those with higher discount rates. So, individuals those who are having higher discount rate, they are more present oriented and they place the future earnings very low. So, as a result they may be more inclined to invest in education, individuals those who lower the discount rate. So, those individuals who lower the discount rate they are more inclined to invest in education and the skill development, even if it means delaying this gratification in the form of immediate income. So, this can lead to higher level of educational attainment among the individuals those who are having low discount rate, and this can be exactly opposite. Those individuals those who are having high discount rate, they will have low level of educational attainment. Further, this difference in the educational attainment may lead to a different earning trajectory in the labor market. So, workers with low discount rate may be willing to endure long period of schooling to acquire higher level of education, which can result in higher earning potentials over their lifetime. On the other hand, the individuals with higher discount rate may prioritize immediate income and opt for the shorter period of schooling or less investment in education, which may lead to end up at a lower earning trajectory in the long run. Further, this the interaction between this earnings and the different discount rates may lead to have the individuals different occupational choices in the labor market. So, the interplay between this discount rate and the earnings can also influence the individual's choice of occupations. So, those with lower discount rate may be more inclined to pursue careers that require extensive education and training, but offer higher long term rewards like the professions like medicine or law. These professions generally requires longer time period to spend in education. Whereas, individuals with higher discount rate may favor occupations that provide immediate income with minimum investment in education like certain trades or service oriented jobs. So, it has interlinkages, this discount rate and the earnings, it has they are interlinked. They starts with human capital investment, enters into the income and the occupational choices of the individuals. Further, discount rates can also affect individuals' attitude towards risk. Those with lower discount rate may be more willing to take on the risk associated with investing in education, anticipating that higher returns over time, whereas individuals with higher discount rate may prefer more immediate and low risk opportunities for earning income. So, even if they offer lower long term prospects, because they do not want to take much risk. So, it also reflects how the individuals are going to assess their risk over in their lifetime and in the future. Overall, the relationship between the discount rate and number of schooling and earning underscores the complex interplay between the individual's preference, investment decisions and long term economic outcomes in the labor market. Let us consider a labor market where there are two workers and they differ only in their discount rates. Now, to understand how the difference in the discount rate can bring difference in the attainment of schooling and earnings, here we have considered that let us say there are only two workers in the labor market, worker A and worker B. Worker A is having its discount rate RA, and for the worker B is the RB. So, if you look at this graph in panel A, on the x axis we have taken number of year of schooling, on the y axis we have taken the rate of interest, the discount rate. Now, the worker A is having the discount rate RA, which is higher than the discount rate of the worker B. However, both workers they are having same marginal rate of return, because they follow the same wage schooling locus. So, in the panel B we have taken the year of schooling and the wage rate on the y axis. Panel B talks about the relationship between the earnings and the year of schooling through wage schooling locus. Panel A talks about the discount rates and the year of schooling. So, they are having the same marginal rate of return. Therefore, if you can see, worker A who is having the discount rate at RA is going to have 11 year of schooling, whereas the worker B who is having the low discount rate is going to have 12 year of schooling. As a result, with this 11 year of schooling, the worker B enters into the labor market and gets the wage rate at point P. So, he is getting the wage rate which is W drop, and the person who is having the lower discount rate R B is going to having one more year of schooling. He is entering into the labor market with 12 year of schooling, and he enters into the labor market and gets the wage rate WHS. So, having an high school, completing his high school education, the worker B is going to get the wage rate WHS, whereas the worker A, the individual A, person A is going to get the wage rate W drop, having only 11 year of schooling. So, the wage gap between the individual A and B, let us estimate the rate of return to the 12th grade. So, the difference between the wage rate between A and B, it is the percentage change in the earnings that a worker would experience in going from 11th grade to 12th grade. So, therefore, estimates of this returns to schooling play a crucial role in many discussion of these public policies. Consider for example, the impact of a proposed law requiring all students to complete their high school education. So, if this law is going to be there that everyone has to complete 12 year of education, then by how much would the proposed policy increase the earnings of workers who are now high school dropouts? How it is going to happen? So, in effect, this policy is going to inject the individual A with one more year of schooling, who was having a high discount rate, he dropped at 11 year of schooling. Now, because the policy is there that everyone has to go for 12 year of schooling, this injects the individual with one more year of schooling. So, the wage schooling Lucas in the figure shows that a high school graduate earns WH dollars. So, in other words, A's earning would increase to WH if the law is going to be in effect. So, a compulsory high school diploma would move the worker along the observed wage schooling Lucas. So, as long as the workers differ only in their discount rate, then we can calculate the marginal rate of return to the schooling from the wage differential between two workers and who differs in their educational attainment only. So, we can then correctly predict by how much earnings would increase if we pursued a particular policy and injected the targeted workers that they should go for more education. So, in that case we can have certain policy goals in which can increase the wage of the dropout workers in the labor market. Now, what happens when there is a difference in the ability? Here we talked about if there is a difference in the discount rate, and with that if the workers are not able to attend educational attainment or they cannot complete 12 year of education, there is some dropout, and you bring a law which can increase the attainment, educational attainment of the workers, and it is a compulsory that they should go for 12 years of education, then in that case you can increase the earnings of the workers in the labor market. But what happens when there is a difference in the ability? So, difference in ability among workers can significantly influence the relationship between schooling and earnings. It has significant impact on educational attainment. So, workers with higher ability, higher level of ability often find it easier to excel academically. So, they may grasp concepts more quickly, or they perform better in the exam, and they overall achieve higher level of educational attainment. So, as a result, they may be more likely to pursue and complete the advanced degree or specialized training, which can lead to higher earnings potential in the labor market. Further, the workers with higher ability typically command higher wages in the labor market due to their greater productivity and skill set. Because of the ability, they have already attended a decent amount of educational attainment, or they have gone for a higher educational attainment, may lead to some higher level of productivity and skill sets with them. So, they may qualify for more lucrative positions, or be able to negotiate higher salaries with the employer. Whereas, workers with the lower ability may face challenges in securing high paying jobs and may be limited to low skilled or low paying positions in the labor market. So, difference in ability have significant impact on earning disparities in the labor market. Further, it has significant impact on the return on investment in education. So, for workers with higher ability, investing in education often yields a higher return on investment. So, they are better positioned to leverage their skills and knowledge acquired through the schooling to secure well paying jobs. Whereas, workers with lower ability may face diminishing return on their educational investment, particularly if they struggle to keep pace with the coursework, or if their skills are less in demand in the labor market. So, definitely the workers, those who are having better ability or higher ability, their return on investment in education definitely going to have more, because they are going to end up with a well paid up jobs. Further, the difference in the ability can also influence workers' occupational choices. Those with higher ability may have a wider range of career options available to them, including the professions that requires advanced degree or specialized skills. Whereas, workers with a low ability may be limited to occupations and that requires less education or offer lower wages. So, persons the workers with high ability, for them they are having a wider occupational choices because of their difference in the ability, and this may lead to some earning mobility. So, workers with higher ability often experience a greater earning mobility over their career. So, they may have more opportunities for the advancement, promotion and salary increases, whereas the workers with lower abilities may face barriers to upward mobility in the labor market, or may experience some stagnant or slow wage growth over the time period. So, overall, the difference in the ability can significantly shape the relationship between schooling and earnings, and impacting individuals' educational choices, labor market outcomes and long term earnings potentials. So, efforts to address this disparity in the ability through targeted education and training initiatives can help to mitigate the inequalities in the earnings and promote greater economic opportunity for all the workers in the economy. So, when we talk about difference in ability, it is much more difficult to estimate the rate of return to the schooling when all workers have the same rate of discount. But each worker faces a different wage schooling locus, which in turn implies that each worker has different marginal rate of return. So, it is often assumed that higher ability levels shift the marginal rate of return schedule to the right, so that the earnings gain resulting from the additional year of schooling outweighs the increase in the foregone earnings. In other words, more able persons get relatively more from an extra year of schooling as compared to the others. So, let us consider a labor market with two workers who differ only in ability. So, person let us say person B's marginal rate of return lies to the right of person A, because both B and A have the same rate of discount, and because B gets more from the additional year of schooling, B gets more schooling. So, we can explain with help of this graphs that in the panel A we have taken the year of schooling, number of year of schooling on the x axis, and the y axis we have taken the rate of interest. Now, we are saying that both this individual A and B, they have the same discount rate, which is R, but they differ in their marginal rate of return. Now, when they differ in their marginal rate of return, person B's marginal rate of return is higher as compared to person A's marginal rate of return. So, the marginal rate of return curve of person B lies towards the right side of person A's marginal rate of return. As a result, person A is going to have 11 years of schooling and person B is going to have 12 years of schooling. Now, with this year of schooling, because of their ability, there is a difference in the year of schooling, they enter into the labor market. Now, when they enter into the person A enters into the labor market with the educational attainment of 11 years, he is going to get the wage rate W drop. Whereas, the person who is going to enter into the labor market with a higher marginal rate of return with an 12 year of schooling, for him the wage schooling locus is this and he is going to get a wage rate which is WHS. Now, both the workers, they have different marginal rate of returns, therefore, they have different wage schooling locus in the labor market. Now, with different wage schooling locus when they enter into the labor market, definitely with the year of schooling, there the wage difference is going to be much higher. So, the data which is there in our hand through this graph, this includes that education and earnings of two workers do not include their ability. It is simply the marginal rate of return. So, this innate ability after all is seldom observed. So, the observed data therefore connect this point P A and P B in the figure. It traced out that this line is labeled Z. So, it is important to note that this line does not coincide with either person A or person B's wage schooling locus. As a result, the observed data on earning and schooling do not allow us to estimate the rate of return to the schooling. So, what exactly is happening? This is the wage rate the person is going to have at the 11 year of schooling, and the person is going to have this wage rate with a 12 year of schooling. Now, if you join these 2 points, this line talks about that their difference in the marginal rate of return. Suppose the government propose a law requiring all persons to complete high school. So, at least 12 years of schooling has to be there, that is a government proposed that law. So, to determine the economic impact of this proposed legislation, we wish to know that by how much individual A's earning would increase if he were injected with one more year of schooling. So, the available data tells us that a high school graduate earns the wage rate is WHS, which is higher than the high school dropout who earns W drop. So, the individual who drop out with 11 years of education, he gets the wage rate W drop, and the individual those who are going to complete the 12 years of schooling, he is going to get the wage rate WHS. Now, if the law is going to be implemented and it has been forced that every individual has to complete 12 years of schooling, which means the person A who was having 11 years of schooling now is going to complete 12 years of schooling, and he will move along with his wage schooling locus. So, adding one more year of schooling to the individual A, which moves him from this point to this point, and along with his wage schooling locus, his wage rate is going to increase from W drop to WA. So, we can see that the adding one more year of schooling for this particular case is going to reduce the gap, wage gap between these two workers, even if they are different in their abilities. The wage differential between B and A does not give the ways that a person A would get under the proposed legislation. So, the line Z in the figure connects the points on different wage schooling curves, provides no information whatsoever about the wage increase that a particular worker would get if he or she were to obtain additional year of schooling. So, if the law goes into effect, individual A's earning would increase only from W drop to WA, which is much less than what the high school wage rate is going to be WHS. Put it differently, the wage gap between individual A and individual B arises for two reasons. Individual B is having more schooling than individual A, and therefore, is getting the return to additional year of schooling. For individual B, however, also earns more than A because B is more able. So, his wage locus lies above the individual A. So, the wage differential between these two workers therefore incorporate the implication of both education and ability on earnings. So, it takes into consideration both the difference in the educational level and the ability on earnings. There could be ability bias. So, the model provides an important lesson about this ability bias. So, if there are unobserved ability differences in the population, the earning differentials across workers do not estimate the returns to schooling. So, the correlation between schooling and earning across the worker is contaminated by the ability differential, and hence does not provide an answer to the question that initially motivated our analysis, that by how much would the earning of a particular worker increase if he were to obtain one more year of schooling. So, in that case, why should one care about this type of ability bias? Suppose that a well meaning government bureaucrat observes that high school graduates they earn $15,000 per year than high school dropouts. So, he uses this data to convince the policymaker that funding the program that encourages students to complete the high school would increase the average wage of high school dropout by 15,000. So, in the bureaucrat's calculation, this earning gain implies that the program funds itself, and presumably from higher tax revenues, lower expenditures on social assistance programs and so on and so forth. So, we know that the bureaucrat's argument is there is a flaw in that argument. He is assuming that the high school graduates and the high school dropouts have the same wage schooling locus and can fix the earning disadvantage of the dropouts by injecting them with more schooling. So, it might be the case, however, that the high school graduates have a higher wage schooling locus, encouraging the high school dropouts to complete their high school education would not lead to a $15,000 increase in their earnings upon the graduation, and it might be more difficult to argue that the program pays its way. So, in summary, we can say that when the workers differ only in their discount rates, the rate of return to the schooling can be estimated by comparing the earnings of different workers. When the workers differ in their innate abilities, the wage differential among the workers does not measure the rate of returns to the schooling, because the wage gap also depends on the unobserved ability differentials. So, in our next lecture, we will discuss about the implications of returns on investment on education and estimate the rate of return to schooling. Thank you.